Hello, welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today we're taking care of a Grixis list. We're playing a Grixis deck, and sort of a Grixis good stuff concoction requested by Unid League. This is a straight net decking, I believe, from a online Pro Tour qualifier. But there's a lot of Grixis fans out there, and I thought that they'd appreciate this as a public video. And there's so many ways to build Grixis right now, and so many kind of things to do with the archetype. I've definitely built a few of my own Grixis decks, but today the creative side of the brain just shut down for a quick minute. We're gonna do some good old-fashioned net decking, take somebody else's list that already did very well, and see what we think of it. See what we like, what we don't like. So right away, our opponent, red, white, and pyromancer. What is this? Like is there gonna be all that burn spells? Do we have to kill this right away and defend our life total? Should we disrupt their hand and see more about what we're dealing with? Can we take 2 more damage to figure that out? It's always hard to say in games like this, because that 2 damage could just cost you the whole match. But if they start with a creature on 2, it's very likely they have many more creatures in their deck, and you might need to point your cast down at something more significant. Let's start by getting more information with the Thought Erasure. And right away, we see that there is a Tajic and a Rekindling Phoenix. The Vraska's Contempt can take care of the Phoenix. The Tajic is harder to deal with. Cast down can't kill it, plus it can pump the Viashino Pyromancer, and there's a Lightning Strike hanging out. I'm going to take the Tajic, and I could take another land to make sure our Doom Whisperer happens on time, and it's possibly greedy to bin this. Let's see. If we leave this land, then we have a guarantee that next turn we can cast down their creature, the next turn exile a thing, and the next turn drop a Doom Whisperer. But I still think my biggest risk is flooding out and dying to the burn spells. So I'm going to put it away. Because also I think I'll want to cast Bolas instead of the Doom Whisperer that turn while the discard is still relevant. Our opponent might be dropping their hand very quickly, and hitting a card with the Bolas could be very important. Alright. Eldest Reborn. Let's pass turn. I think the way this is going to work is cast down the Pyromancer, Contempt the Rekindling Phoenix, and if there's another creature after that, meet the Eldest Reborn. I would love to have your Phoenix on my battlefield. Actually, the Phoenix will be exiled. We'll get something back. We will get something back. Here she comes. Now we are going to untap and immediately Vraska's Contempt the Phoenix. We do not want our opponent a chance to untap, and then they could Lightning Strike the Phoenix in response. It would go to the graveyard and then come back the next turn. So we want to make sure that while they're tapped out, we're dropping that Contempt on them. Another Pyromancer. Our opponent loves their aggro, loves the burns. It's a burn-based Boros is what I'm getting from this. So, yep, let's go ahead and show them the Bolas. Hit a card out of the hand while we can. If it's another land, that's not a great hit, and they get to keep their Lightning Strike. No, they discard the Lightning Strike, so whatever they have, they like enough. Maybe it's something to kill this. Let's find out. Banefire. Opponent loves their burn. Okay. So on that note, well, we drew a Deadweight. God, that's such an easy cleanup for this that I kind of want to wait and see if they find a bigger creature. So I'm going to go ahead and slam a Doom Whisperer. And what have you got? What can you do about that? That's another Pyromancer. Third Pyromancer. So this is the burniest Boros deck I think I've seen. Basically, it's the mono-red burn deck with Tajic so far. Oh, well, just because we want our mana to be extremely awkward, we'll play History of Benalia as well. I don't think I can afford to pay Life to Surveil for this. Our life total is kind of the only way we lose the game. So drawing a Vraska's Contempt is a pretty good draw. Let's go ahead and drop a Deadweight here. We'll Vraska's Contempt the next token. and save Doom Whisperer to block. Alright. So that takes care of the 2 knights. Now I'll slam an Eldest Reborn and start working on getting back Nicol Bolas. But I'm going to keep defending my life total. I mean, I could try to turn the corner here. What could our opponent draw? A Tajik would be such a beating, though, and would outrace us significantly. That's why Tajik is such a pretty neat card, is you have to respect it at all times. You can play against it well, but you have to respect that the opponent at any time could take their 2-power little Viacino Dork and suddenly have a 6 powers worth of attacking. Alright, let's claim that. Let's go have a look at this build. And we've got a Spell Pierce. Just one for the lulz, I guess. Also to protect Thief of Sanity, as well as 2 Lazavs, which also go great with Thief of Sanity. A pair of Notion Rains that you saw, and a pair of Golden Demises, which kind of a non-bow there, but you do need something against those token decks lurking around. Just one of the Essence Scatters. Dead Weight I really like in the deck. 4 Cast Down is going pretty ham and trusting that you won't run into a legend you can't deal with otherwise. 3 Contempts are there for that, as well as a Chupacabra. An Eldest Reborn, just the solo one, and 3 Doom Whisperers to go with 3 Nicol Bolas. The mana base uses all those check lands, and the only basic is Swamp, so our opponent's really focused on having their black mana. This is basic. This Grixis deck splashes red only for Bolas, and kind of touches on blue. It's interesting in that way. Mana curve is nice and solid. It's a straight, like, more 2s than 3s, more 3s than 4s, more 4s than 5s. Just, when you describe, like, good stuff decks, I would definitely define this as good stuff decks. So invariably, when I take some time off from streaming, like, and by time off, I mean a couple of days, really. I take a few days off streaming and then back at it and making YouTube videos. And you see my rank drop all the way down to, in this case, we went in from silver into bronze. I invariably feel like I have to explain it, and some people ask, like, I'm not making this up, people do ask what happened to my rank. I think they're generally curious. So 2 subscriber requests that I worked on very hard. Number 1 was Star of Extinction and True Fire Captain. I don't recommend it. Talk about a rank tanker. Holy cow. Trying to one-shot combo kill people with Star of Extinction and True Fire Captain is... To say it's not as easy as it sounds is such an understatement. I don't even know where to begin. We tried a ramp version, we tried a Boros version. You don't want to see that, I promise you. I don't know what you're into in Magic. You don't want to see me trying. You don't want to see how that worked out. Let's go ahead and grab the Golgari Queen. We'll have to deal with this eventually, but we'll have to deal with it eventually, but not right now. Hopefully we can find another discard spell before that comes up. And there's a land on top. That's what we badly needed. We could play another Lazav, putting a Lazav in the graveyard. I don't know why my opponent's not attacking, by the way, with at least 1 Stitcher Supplier. They definitely want to get more creatures in their graveyard. I think we just passed the turn, and we're sort of stuck for the moment. The land situation, not optimal. But yeah, here's where at least 1 Stitcher Supplier, and probably 2, this whole period should be attacking. You want that Izoni to be fueled. It's not good. See, I'm onto you. I know what you're trying to do. My best hope is that they don't even want to play the Izoni, but they still should, because they can sacrifice their Stitcher Suppliers. Of course, the mana likely makes them very nervous. Alright, but we've got to get off the bluff train. Get our dragon. Right now, that our opponent flooded a bit. We got mana screwed, but our opponent flooded. And mana screw will beat flood if the pressure isn't enough. And our opponent definitely hasn't been bringing the pressure. Ooh, and there it is. Thought Erasure can take it away. Let's go for it. Yep, our opponent's super flooded. I'll keep the land, thank you. I'll just send Bolas. I can start blocking the Stitcher Suppliers now that Zoni is safely in the bin, at least for the time being. There's always ways to get your creatures back in these builds. Journey to Eternity. Alright, I've got to respond. Glad I had the cast down open. This game's working out better than I deserve. But Journey Golgari. Journey Golgari. Shenanigans. Still no creatures in the bin, but we can begin attacking with Lazav as well. Take him, Bolas. Get there. 3 more cards. They run Doom Whisperer as well. So do I. It's a lot of damage. And if we can get... Oh, wow. There you go. It's not over. So what do I need? I need another Doom Whisperer in the graveyard. Would a Thief of Sanity do it? A Thief of Sanity would do it too. So I need something to copy with flying in the graveyard for Lazav. So I'm willing to pay some life and go for it. It's risky. It's risky, but it is the meme. It is glorious. We have to be devoted. We have to be devoted. There we go. Our opponent can gain 1 life, so we actually needed more than a Thief of Sanity, or we could have been super ambushed, but Doom Whisperer is plenty. So Lazav will copy the Doom Whisperer, become a flying 6/6 Trampler with Surveil abilities. These are not spiders. They do not have reach for you spider spawning fans from the Duels crew. And that will do it. Grixis, so much power.
Your life's about to end. Hope you're ready.
Nice. I think that's my 4th Golgari Queen, so that's nice. For those of you out there who might wonder why I'm not doing a quick constructed event, you've probably already typed a comment to get ornery about that with, you know, my Magic Online PG Pro Tour Qualifier competitive deck. It's because I want to do a few recordings today, and if I do a quick constructed, I have that in mind for something else. So I'm trying to knock out some recordings here on my day off. It's part of my... It's basically the reason is my time management. If you feel that's unfair to some other players who may not have these cards, I'm sorry you feel that way. It is... I've got to treat myself well. Especially with regards to time management while trying to keep the content coming and hold down a very busy time of year for the work that I do. Do I want to blow this up with a deadweight? I don't think that I do. I think we just let that be. So I gotta put myself first in this case. I do understand the argument that you shouldn't play in like the free play modes with certain like try-hard decks. I don't know that Grixis should really qualify, though. This is a pretty honest mid-range deck. It's got some expensive cards and an expensive mana base for sure. I don't debate that. But it's not... It's just not being... I don't get the vibe that it's doing anything kind of broken. It's just playing a lot of decent cards. Alright, I don't think I need another land at this time. Our opponent runs Price of Fame, but they don't have it in this spot. I think we'll just take the blocks. Or Oh, we have deadweight. Nah, I think I'll take the damage instead. We'll deadweight this. It's a good deadweight target. We can keep our Lazav around, especially since it can block a Thorn Lieutenant. Alrighty, and we'll play another Swamp and say go. So we have Cast Down available. If our opponent resolves something cool. Murder's not cool, but okay, so we got a green-black deck running Murder, Price of Fame, Swarm Guild Mage. Interesting little build of Golgari. Do I want to cast down a Thorn Lieutenant? I suppose so. It is a very obnoxious threat later in the game. If our opponent ever has 6 mana, they can pump it to attack through a Bolas, so we should protect ourselves a little bit. But let's see if the opponent saves some removal for the dragon. I'm most nervous about a Chupacabra. Our opponent casting Murder last turn, though, implies that they don't have it, or Chupacabra would have been more mana efficient and just a really solid play. Another Murder? Well, I'm sure they have a way to kill the Bolas then. Oh, I see. They're going to use a Harpooner to do it the cool way. It is more mana efficient. It makes sense. Bye-bye, Bolas. Still getting beat down by tokens. I think I need to shorten the clock, so I'll drop a deadweight on the token. No need to take out the supplier and fill their graveyard more. When you're playing Stitcher Supplier, you gotta believe that's what they want. But what we most don't want to see here, please don't play a Vraska or a Vivian Reed, a Planeswalker. Ugh.
You won't see the end coming. Being ruthless has its rewards.
Why do I say things? It's like I just draw up my own demise. Our opponent is in a tough spot. They need things to sacrifice. They're sacrificing land. Nope, just building up. Man, look at the removal. Murder, Vraska's Contempt, Price of Fame. Our opponent hates opposing creatures. Gotta counter that. Can't have a big game back Azoni. Another land. The Flood. We've drawn, I think, 3 or 4 lands in a row at a crucial time. That ultimate is a -9, and they get an emblem. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. If this goes off, we have to kill everything. If something touches us even once, it's basically like we're on 1 life forever. If something touches us even once, we just die. Now that's a pretty good ultimate, especially in a deck full of creatures. And here is Rise from the Grave for Azoni, making a bajillion bugs. We'll need a Golden Demise off the top, and it's legendary, so we can't kill the Azoni either.
Don't dwell on what's about to happen.
And we failed. Yeah, so that's like the mid-range 101. You can play to even till about turn 5, and then you draw 4 lands in a row. It's very sad. However, on to the next one. I'm sure you've all been there. If you're watching this channel, I'm sure you play Magic. I'm sure you've felt it. If you're playing a perfectly good game, you're both kind of about even with maybe a card or 2 left, and then, oh yeah, they drew Planeswalkers and, like, big awesome bombs, and you drew Swamp. Life's not fair, is it? This hand's interesting. We're going to need to find land drops. Ooh. Man, if we had been on the play, we would have taken that away from our opponent. What a world. Now we're just helping them. We can kill this. Syncopate. Expansion. It's a good card. I guess Niv we can kill with the Eldest Reborn if our opponent gets there, so we don't have to take it. So what's the best card, actually? I think the Syncopate's the potentially most disruptive. Expansion has the highest payoff, but it's a long ways away. It's not that good in the opener. And the only thing we have for it to copy here is a Golden Demise. So, we could save this for the Electromancer, but since I have the Golden Demise, I don't want to overload on answers when they're probably not a deck with too many creatures. I'd rather hit more land drops, draw more removal, draw more discard spells. They do not play the Electromancer. Okay, fine by me. No red source yet, by the way. Yeah, I had a feeling they drew a counterspell, which is why they passed, but I'd rather they get it out of their hand, so if I draw a red source, I can have Bolas instead. Bolas is much better than a Lazav. Like, I can't even believe you'd want to counter a Lazav that much, but it can turn into other things, so I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. So now our opponent doesn't have any plays except the Electromancer, and they do go for it. And we draw the red source. Yeah. 2 cards, and I think we just get this out there. Making them discard one of these is pretty nasty. And Niv goes down. They keep Expansion, Explosion. I wonder if they're going to try to attack and hope I don't know how this works, but right now they can Expansion Explosion for 2, so they might be trying to double trade here. Do I like that? Oh, they're just going face. Alright. Sure. I will demise away your Electromancer. Puts them right up on sweeping, though. Oh, should have attacked first. Little boo-boo. Got too loose. Maybe I should have Eldest Reborn their Electromancer while they're tapped out. I was just thinking of other things like Planeswalkers and more Nivs. Crackling Drake's a good one too. What do you think? Team? Did the opponent draw another counterspell? Find out. How good are they? They're damn good. We could have also attacked first and hoped my opponent didn't have a play, but if they had a Lightning Strike or Shock, they could have traded with the Bolas. And this way, I can flip the Bolas next turn. Flipped Bolas can get Niv. Getting Niv is going to be hard to beat. Okay. Did that just happen? Did our opponent just throw away their search? Because I think they meant to search. Well, let's go for this. Resolves.
I am limitless.
Give me that.
The dead shall serve me.
If they have Blink of an Eye, I'm going to be very sad. But if they don't, they're in a lot of trouble. Like, a lot. Should I do damage to the Drake? I think it's very unlikely I can kill it. But if my opponent casts 3 more spells, it's good. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to find 3 more spells. I feel like using Search for his Kanta, which wouldn't have triggered the Niv, would be better there if you're digging for an answer. Alright, Shock. There's a Chupa. That's a good one for the Drake. As long as our opponent isn't sitting on Essence Scatter too.
Starting to annoy me.
Ooh, doesn't attack. Weird. Perhaps they're worried about just dying here. But now I can go for killing the Drake. We're definitely going to plus for those 2 cards ASAP. because zap
My
zap.
knowledge is endless.
Definitely don't need the Chupa. And saving it for my opponent's Niv should they find another one and this game take that long seems right. It's just Notion Rain. Alright, there we go. I'm trying to get them to counter this Notion Rain. That's why I didn't target. I mean, Thought Erasure could still be crucial. I'll take both of those. It's not like our opponent has a low hand now, but they could rebuild. And now we'll take out the Drake. And you. We definitely want to save it till next turn. I don't think we want to play it this turn. But we'll try the Bolas. Because if that resolves, our opponent loses their one card. And if they counter it, then they don't get to use Search for Azcanta. And it is Ionize. I don't know. I might have... It's so hard to say. What they did is probably right. It depends on what's in their deck and how they can get out of this situation. It does feel like they need their own Niv to have a hope. They don't know about the Chupa, though. If they do play bounce spells in their deck, I think you would certainly want to use a Search for Azcanta there. And try to find one, rather than ionizing. Looks like they discarded a Beacon Bolt. So perhaps we're about to see that to kill the Niv. And try to get back in the game. So they still have a Search for Azcanta. That's the saving grace here. But we're gonna... Okay. Hand is completely empty.
My genius is unmatched.
Alright, we'll go with Thief of Sanity. We'll go with Lazav. We'll just put out a bunch of dorks. And go in the yard. One thing I'd be interested to try in this deck is Disinformation Campaign, a card I've really started to like a lot more than I ever thought I could. When you're already doing some amount of surveilling, it's a very grindy card. I don't think you have to have 4, although they do stack pretty well in multiples. 2 or 3 seems to get the job done. Our opponent finds Ral.
I never back down from a challenge. Well, let's see what the wind blows in.
I wonder what they're looking for. Got a land. That's not great. And anticipate, that's not going to do it. Yeah, that's going to be the game. Because we can turn Lazav into a Bolas and attack for the lethal. So, yeah, I guess we'll go out on a high note with the Grixis deck. I hope you enjoyed this video. So many ways to do Grixis. I invariably, when I do a deck like Grixis, something mid-rangey with a lot of different good cards, I get a lot of comments like, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? My advice? Yes, play them all. Try them out. If you want to debate whether or not you think a card should be in the deck, if you want like the kind of long... almost political drama style debate of, well, here's the pluses, here's the minuses, I really suggest joining Discord and getting in our channels like Talking Magic and having talks like that there where you can find a bunch of other Magic fans to debate a card back and forth with. All right, Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.